Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you today?
We are fine, ma'am.
Okay. Students, before we start up the lesson today, I'm going to brief you about the author of the chapter. The thief's story is written by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond, who is an Indian writer of British descent. He belongs to Kasauli, the region somewhere near Himachal Pradesh in India. And the most important part of this particular writer and a poet is he writes about children. He is known for his writings, fiction, short stories which are autobiographical in nature and also talks about the life of the children, childhood, their fantasies. Whatever he talks about relates to the children also. So this chapter also talks about the child of 15-year-old, almost of your age. Okay. So let me take you to the chapter and let me discuss the story briefly to you. Do you think telling lies or stealing something is nice, or is it right? No, it's not right, because it takes us to the bad habits which are harmful for us in our later life. This chapter also talks about a boy named Hari Singh and another person named Anil. What this person does, they both met together in a wrestling match, and Hari Singh, being a very professional stealer, being a very professional thief, what he has seen in Hari Singh, that he is a simple person and he thought him to be his next target. So he went up to him and asked him to help him out. He asked him, could I get some work from you? To which Anil said, sorry, I could not give you money for the work you do. He said, okay, it's fine, but can you feed me? Can you provide me the meals? To which Anil replied, yes, of course I do. And they both went together. Although Hari Singh didn't know how to cook, but still he accepted the job of cooking, because he does not want to do a job of cook there, but he wants to do stealing there. So he takes up the job and went with him to his house, and both of them, they were living, and at that time, that particular night, whatever meal Hari Singh cooked was awful. That was really, really bad. And that was notified with the fact that Anil gave that food to the stray dog. And that time he said, sorry, you cannot work with me anymore, you have to leave the place. But Hari Singh, again with a very appealing smile, comes up to him with a perspective, I don't have anyone else to come back to you. So they both again went together, and Hari Singh and Anil, they were living, and Anil now started teaching him how to cook and also how to write also. And that was the benefit for Hari Singh, because now he started thinking, now I'll be a very cunning writer, I'll be literate, I can steal rich and literate people, I'll never be uneducated. So they both started working together, and Anil, he started giving him some jobs related to shopping, related to buying veggies from the market. And what this professional thief does, he started stealing 1 rupee or 2 rupee from whatever money has been given to him. And Anil, he knows that he has been robbed. He knows that somewhere a part of my money is being getting stolen by Hari Singh. But still he was mum, and he continued him how to teach. One day, what happened, Anil got some money from a publisher, since he was writing for the magazines, so he got some money from there, and he was very happy. And what kind of a nature we have got, Ruskin Bond has shown of Anil is, he is the kind of a person who gets money for this week and he spends the money. Next week he may not get the work, so he takes the money from the shopkeepers, he lends the money, he to spend his money in the next week. So he is not having an irregular kind of an income. But that goes on, and the day Hari Singh got a lot of money from his publisher, he kept the money under his mattress. Now it was no more waiting for Hari Singh. That night he thought, I'll take the money and run away, and that's what he did. He took the money from the mattress and ran away when Anil was asleep. That night, he has to catch the train to Lucknow. But the moment he reached the platform, he could not catch the train. He may not have caught the train because he was there. Something was going in his mind. So many thoughts were coming in his mind. He was talking to himself. What I have done? Listen, what I have done? I have robbed such a nice man. He taught me how to write. He taught me how to, cook the food. And what he would have been thinking of me. There were so many thoughts coming on his mind, and he moved away from the railway station. Now where to go? Because the only person whom he knows in that town was Anil. And that person, he has broken the trust. So he was there in the park and suddenly started raining. Hari Singh was completely drenched with water. Now what to do? There was no way out. The money he has stolen was also wet. So there was a change of heart in him. He was thinking, again and again about Anil and the wrong he did to him. Now he decided that I'll go back to him and I'll return the money. That was very tough task because now he knows he could be caught there also. And there was a prospect he might be, handed over to the police also. But still he took a risk and went back to the home and put the money, the place where it was under the mattress. So he put it under the mattress. Now what happened? After putting it under the mattress, he get back to sleep. Next morning, when Anil woke up, he took out a 50 rupee note which was already wet and handed over to Hari Singh and said, now you will be paid every month. I am going to give you money. Now Hari Singh thought, now he is going to hand me over to the police. But Anil did not do that. What he did? He told him, come on, let's start writing and let's learn new sentences today. Now, here the story stops, here the story ends with a note that it's not necessary to do, bad to the people who are bad. We can give one more chance to the people to change. Since Anil now has realized that Hari Singh has changed, there is a change of heart in him, so he should be given a chance. Fine. So that's all about the chapter. I have summarized to you. Now I'm going to take up to the video which will be the same content, but it will be an animated video. You can enjoy the video and thereafter we are going to have a question answer session from you. I'm going to ask you a few questions related to the chapter which you have to answer me. Okay, thank you. Let's go to the video.
I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind and simple enough for my purpose. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. You look a bit of a wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. So do you, he replied. Which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin. Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh, I lied. I took a new name every month that kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting and throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed casually. Hello again, he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. I want to work for you, I said, but I can't pay you. I thought that over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. I asked, can you feed me? Can you cook? I can cook, I lied again. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. He took me to his room over the Jamna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. Later, he patted me on the head and said, never mind, he'd teach me how to cook. He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. I made the tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies, usually making a profit of about ₹1 a day. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he did not seem to mind. Anil made money by fits and starts. He would borrow one week, lend the next. He kept worrying about his next check, but as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. It seems he wrote for magazines, a queer way to make a living. One evening, he came home with a small bundle of notes, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night, I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. I had been working for Anil for almost a month and, apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in my line of work. I had every opportunity for doing so. Anil had given me a key to the door. I could come and go as I pleased. He was the most trusting person I had ever met, and that is why it was so difficult to rob him. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed, but it's difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he's been robbed, and that takes all the pleasure out of the work. Well, it's time I did some real work, I told myself. I'm out of practice, and if I don't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat up on the floor, considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the note. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by a string on my pajamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight on to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train had still to pick up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages, but I hesitated. For some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. The greedy man showed fear. The rich man showed anger. The poor man showed acceptance. But I knew that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, would show only a touch of sadness. Not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly. It was early November, and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentences, I knew, could one day bring me more than a few 100 rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. I hurried back to the room, feeling very nervous, for it was much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. I awoke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you'll be paid regularly. My spirits rose, but when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. Today we'll start writing sentences, he said. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort.
So students, have you enjoyed the video?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you understood the story now?
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice. So let me ask you a few questions to let me understand have you understood or not. Okay. So my first question to you is, what would have happened if Anil and Hari Singh would not have ended up the way the story does? What would have happened if Hari Singh would have taken the money and would not have returned it to Anil? What would have happened in his life? Can any one of you answer me? Please raise your hands if you know the answer. Okay, now Shivali, please answer.
Hari Singh cheated Anil by breaking his trust. He let the money and run away. After he got the realization for what he had done. If he will not return the money, then he will utilize the money in some business, but he will not happy for whole life. The whole life he will cursing himself for what he had done with Anil.
So my next question is, do you think it is significant and there is significant detail in the chapter to let us know that Anil was a struggling writer? What signifies that he struggled a lot to, earn his living? Any one of you can answer? Yes? Okay. Sneha, please answer me.
I think Anil is a struggling writer. He writes for newspapers and magazines and earns some money. He didn't have his permanent job and regular income. Even he didn't have money to pay Hari Singh.
Now the question arises that what are Hari Singh's reaction to the prospect of receiving the education which Anil was giving him? Does that reaction changes with the passage of time? Anyone? Yes? Okay. Yes, please. You answer.
Anil was teaching Hari Singh on whole sentences. Hari Singh thought if he could write and learning, he became an educated man. In the beginning, he thought by learning and writing, he became an educated and cunning thief. But later, he realized the importance of education. He thought he used his education for a good purpose. He thought to write sentences for magazines. He think that it is a very easy way to get more money from stealing than stealing. At this thought, he decided to return to Anil.
Now students, I would like to know that do you think that people like Anil and Hari Singh, they really exist, or such kind of people are only in stories, in fiction? What do you think about it? Okay, yes, Tamanna, please answer me.
No, the people like Hari Singh and Anil are found only in fiction. Such people are rare in real. They exist. When some people catch a thief, they first beat him and hand over to the police.
Now the most important part of the chapter which I would like to know from you, since you have already seen the video and I have already discussed the summary with you and summarized each and everything, what do you think that Anil had not handed over Hari Singh to police? He could have done so since he has been robbed also. What do you think that he has not handed over Hari Singh to Anil? Yes? Okay. Sandhya, answer me please.
Anil had come to know that Hari Singh had stolen his money at night when he was asleep. It was quite clear to him through the weight bundle of notes that Anil had tried to steal his money, but then too he did not hand him over to the police because he was a kind person. He wanted to reform him. Anil knew that social evils like stealing could not be cured through punishment.
Now students, since we have understood the chapter, we have understood what's the purpose of introducing the chapter to you. So now let's work on the pronunciation part also. So here we are going to read the text, and wherever I feel that any one of you is not able to pronounce the words correctly or find any difficulty in pronouncing it, I am here to help you out. So let's start with the beginning. So Renuka, I would like you to read it out aloud.
I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. I was about 25 years tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind and simple enough for my purpose.
Okay, stop here for a while. Renuka, we have pronounced two words here. One is thou, it's though. Second is approached. Repeat it.
Approached.
Approached. Okay. Now we are going to start with the next child, please.
He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind and simple enough for my purpose. I had not had much luck for late and thought I might be able to get info the young man confidence.
Okay, stop here. Here two words you are not able to pronounce correctly. One was lean. Repeat it after me. Lean. Okay. And another one is confidence. Speak it out. Confidence. Okay. One more word, that was able. Yes. Please pay attention to these words. Next time we will come back to you and I want you to speak it correctly for that. Next child.
You look a bit of wrestler yourself. I said a little.
Stop here, stop here. I'll repeat. You look a bit of a wrestler yourself. Repeat it.
You look a bit of a wrestler yourself. I said a little. Flattery helps in making friends. So do you. He replied, which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin.
Okay, stop here, Divya. It's flattery. What is it?
Flattery.
Flattery. Flattery means when we boost off in front of other people to impress other. Okay, like we say buttering, you know. So it's flattery when we praise other people to impress them. Okay, and another word which you made a mistake was, it was rather. Speak it out. Rather. Okay, and wrestler. It's not yourself, it's yourself. Speak it out.
Yourself.
Yes. Next child.
Well, I said modestly, I would wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh. I look a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers.
Stop. First of all, when? How you are going to speak it out?
When. I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh. I lied. Lied means to speak a lie, not to tell the truth. I took a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. What is it? Speak it out. Employers. Yes. Next time.
After this introduction, Anil talk about the well-oiled wrestlers who were granting, lifting and throwing each other about. I did not have much to say. Anil walking away. I followed casually. Hello again, he said. I gave him my most applying smile. I want to work for you. I said, but I cannot pay you.
Okay. Here are 2-3 words which were not pronounced correctly were. First was appealing. Appealing. I told you before, appealing means which appeals to other. That means which is liked by the other person. That is appealing smile. And another word is casually. Casually in a carefree manner. Okay. Another well-oiled wrestlers. And another word is who were grunting. Grunting means when you are making a noise, when you are making a sound, when you are in a heavy activity. Like when the wrestlers are moving, when they are wrestling with each other, they make sound of pushing each other or making the sound of giving a push to other. That is grunting. Okay. And lifting, throwing each other about. Fine. So this is how we have discussed how to work on the pronunciation. In the next class also we'll discuss the same thing. Get back to you in the next class. Thank you.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमें बहुत मज़ा आया वहाँ पर लैंग्वेज लैब में। बहुत अच्छी तरीके से हमें टेक्स्ट बुक जो टेक्स्ट के क्वेश्चन थे उन्हें अच्छे से समझाया और जो जैसे थे कि इजी वर्ड्स में थे उसमें अच्छी तरीके से बताया हमें और हमें एक एक वर्ड अच्छी तरीके से समझ आया। जो उसमें प्रोनाउंसिएशन थे वो भी हमें अच्छे तरीके से बताया गया उसमें और हमें ऐसा लगता मूवी चल रही है वहाँ पर। अच्छा लग रहा था, उसमें समझ आ रहा था हमें एक एक वर्ड। हमें ये सारी जो हमें अच्छी तरीके से समझाया, एक लाइन समझाई गई है वो हमें और जाके हमें एग्जाम में काम आएंगे। अब हमें रटने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, अब हम उसे अच्छे से कर सकते हैं क्योंकि लर्न रहेगा, हमें ये याद रहेगा कि ये ऐसा है। इस चैप्टर में हमने सब कुछ एकदम अच्छी तरीके से ऑब्जर्व कर लिया, हमें अच्छी तरीके से बताया गया है इसमें। अब हमें रटने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, बस हमें एग्ज़ाम में बस दिमाग से काम करना पड़ेगा, बस याद रहेगा हमें इस तरीके से।
आज हमें लैंग्वेज लैब में बहुत अच्छा लगा। हमने बहुत डिफरेंट बातें सीखी और वर्ड को एक एक वर्ड को अच्छे से बोलना सीखा और हमें क्वेश्चन से याद करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, मतलब अपना बना के लिख सकते हैं हम।
लैंग्वेज लैब में हमें एक चैप्टर एक स्टोरी के जैसे करवाया जो हमें अच्छे से समझ में आया। स्टोरी एक मतलब हमारे माइंड में ऐसे रहती है जैसे हम कोई फ़िल्म देखते हैं, तो हमें आज का कंसेप्ट बिल्कुल अच्छे से क्लियर हुआ है क्योंकि हम आगे जाएंगे तो हमें वो अच्छे से याद रहेगा।